As many of you know, things are starting to gear up more for the presidential run. As time grows closer, we are hearing more from the Republican and Democrat parties telling the American citizens why they should vote for Trump or Biden in the 2024 election. As some may know, neither Democrat or Republican parties have given a crap about the black community throughout history. The Republicans have pretty much given up on trying to reach the black community since the 1970s, and the Democrats have been practicing benign neglect over the decades with the black community. But as things are tightening up, I'm noticing a shift in political talking points. President Biden and Democrats are starting to see that they can't just depend on the black community to blindly vote blue no matter who this upcoming 2024 election. Let's take a look at some people from the community talking about how they feel about Trump and Biden.
I feel like the black community don't really like Biden because, like, when I go on the streets and stuff and I talk to my homies, they don't really be Biden like that, you know what I'm saying? They say Biden really ain't do nothing. They really like Trump better, I ain't gonna lie, because Trump had the money coming in, he had the stimulus checks coming in.
He wants to make it seem as if he's for the blacks, and he's not really, because he hasn't really helped anybody. And I don't like the fact that he's even sending weapons to Israel when it's people here that still need help. And I hate to say this, but people that are immigrants that's coming here, their first day here, because I work in the medical field, they already have Medicaid, and it's people here that are still on the list waiting for it.
I mean, honestly, I like Trump. Like, it was a lot, like, going on, like, in the news and the media. So, actually, like, I'm okay with Trump coming back.
I'm probably be the only black person to admit it, but I want Trump back. I'm sorry. I mean, last time I checked, who signed off on them stimulus packages? He did. Even though we didn't have the money to do it and put us more in debt, it didn't put us in debt. It put the country in debt. But we don't feel what the country debt is. We don't. We only feel it when we go buy some grapes and it say $17.
Biden is not doing well in the polls within the black community. Let's take a look at this.
As the Biden campaign sees a drop in support among some black voters, CNN's Harry Enton is joining us now. How does black voter support look when compared to a few years ago?
Yeah, I think this is the real thing, is sort of the drop off, right? Look, if you look at 2024, Biden still leads among black voters over Donald Trump, 69% in an average of polls. But look at this number for Donald Trump, 22%. Where was Donald Trump at this point 4 years ago in the polls? He was just at 9% of the vote. So he's seen more than a doubling in his support among African Americans. This margin, which was in the 70s just 4 years ago, look at where it is now, 69 minus 22. That puts it in the 40s. My goodness gracious. If this held through the general election, obviously we're still months away, this would be by far the best performance for a Republican candidate among black voters in a generation, 2 generations, probably since 1960 and Richard Nixon against John F. Kennedy. That's how long we're really talking about when we're looking at this margin here. This could be a truly historic margin. It's quite a troubling sign for the Biden campaign, Sarah.
So where is Biden weakest among black voters? When you look at this number, who are they?
Yeah, who are these voters? And let's break it down by age, because I really think this gives you a good insight into what's exactly cooking here. Take a look here. If you look among black voters age 50 and over, you see that Joe Biden has a very substantial lead here. Look at this, 82% to 8%. This lead is still in the 70s. This looks a lot like what we saw in the overall polling back in 2020. But look at voters under the age of 50. Look here, Donald Trump is pulling 25% of that vote. Joe Biden is at just 62% of this vote. This lead, Sarah, is south of 40 percentage points. This is historic. This is what a lot of folks have been talking about, that Joe Biden has a specific problem among younger black voters. And that is exactly what's showing up right here. And this is, I think, a lot of the reason why you're going to see Biden focusing more on black voters, why you're seeing Jim Clyburn go out there. Don't be surprised if they go to more colleges, because the fact of the matter is, older black voters still really much like Joe Biden. It's these younger black voters who very much are turning on him and being much more supportive of Donald Trump than they were 4 years ago.
Of course, this is not the only thing that Joe Biden has to worry about, although these numbers look pretty dire and very different than they did in the last election.
Well, as you can see, this is a new day. Over the years, the Democrats have always been able to depend on the black community to vote Democrat with fear tactics. But now you have younger generations of black voters who are more informed with facts and not basing their crucial votes off of fear. Biden has really messed up his standing amongst some in the black community. For the last several decades, since the 1965 Voting Rights Act, the black community have been strong supporters of the Democrat Party. Most of that support has come from the black silent and black baby boomer generations. These are the people who came from the civil rights era. As you can imagine, they have a strong emotional tie to the political party that allowed black people to be seen as American citizens and the right to vote. But now, there are new generations of black voters who don't have the same emotional ties to the Democrat Party like their grandparents and parents have. That is the Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z generations. These younger generations have looked at what their predecessors' generations have not gotten back in return for being very loyal to Democratic Party over the last 60 years and have decided to make a change in the way black community thinks about voting. Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z generations are becoming more and more disgruntled with the lies and tricks of the Democratic Party. The younger generations are seeing how Democrat open border policies have hurt the black community the most. Dr. Claude Anderson tried to warn the older generations in the black community about this in the 1990s.
One of the alarming predictions you make in the book is along those lines. You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015?
2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there are going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research that's coming to us, that the next generation of whites is going to be more anti-black than they've been since the Civil Rights Movement. 2, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society down to a minority. We've been number 2 in the society for 400 years as a group. We're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten anything after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4. Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America, they're coming in higher than we are because this country operates off of a preferential acceptance program, which means that groups are coming in based on skin color. They're going from the lightest down to the darkest. Light, yellow, brown, black. And that's what our immigration laws are based on. And black folk would not be able to penetrate through those groups to get to the white society when that happens, because those groups owe us nothing. They don't understand our problems, and they are competitive with us, and we don't begin to be a little more aggressive about being in a competitive posture. They're going to eat our lunch.
Thanks to today's plethora of information technology, Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z generations are becoming wiser and looking to vote for their best interest. They are voting policies over parties. American citizens have got to be more involved in the political process, become knowledgeable about geopolitics. It is frustrating for people to continue to see corrupt politicians prioritizing their self-interest and corporations while screwing the constituents. Residents can take several actions to ensure they have political leadership that genuinely represents their best interests. Education and awareness. Stay informed about political issues, candidates, and their positions. Understand how policies affect the community. Vote wisely. Participate in all elections, not just presidential ones. Local elections often have a more direct impact on daily life. Research candidates' backgrounds, platforms, and voting records to make informed choices. Support grassroots movements. Join or create grassroots organizations advocating for specific issues. These groups can pressure politicians to prioritize residents' needs. Demand accountability. Hold elected officials accountable by attending town hall meetings, writing letters, making phone calls, and using social media to voice concerns. Campaign finance reform. Advocate for campaign finance reform to reduce the influence of big money in politics. Support candidates who reject corporate PAC money. Run for office. Encourage community members with integrity to run for local offices. Having residents in positions of power can ensure their voices are heard. Community organizing. Work with neighbors to identify common concerns and collectively engage with policymakers. Strength in numbers can lead to real change. Stay engaged. Political change is ongoing. Stay engaged beyond elections, continuously advocating for policies that benefit the community. By taking these steps, residents can help create a political landscape where leaders genuinely prioritize the well-being and interests of those they serve. Hope you find the information in this video informative. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thanks for watching the video.